And I too want to echo my colleagues' thanks to everyone who was involved in preparing our recommended budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. Every department, our CEO and her entire staff, her budget staff in particular. I want to thank John Leonard on our staff, as well as all of the staff in our office who have been working to really sink our teeth into what this budget provides for in terms of our policy priorities. I know a lot of time and work goes into the budgeting process and difficult decisions that have to be made about what is recommended for funding. And I also want to ensure that our budget is making investments in the critical needs of our county, including strategies to address the crises we're facing. And to Supervisor Mitchell's point, people will look to our budget as an evaluation of what we are prioritizing. And so with that in mind, I wanted to talk about some priority areas that I'm focused on. Of course, homelessness is the crisis of the moment. 75,000 people or more are living without permanent shelter in the county. Countless more individuals are on the verge of losing their housing, and this is the conversation no matter where you go in LA County, people want to talk to you about it. So over a year ago, we brought forward a motion to proclaim homelessness as a local emergency, and since that time, we have accelerated some hiring and some contracting in some departments, but we know there's a lot more that needs to be done, and people really want to feel that on the streets and in their communities. So what are we doing differently in this budget to address homelessness? Is it increasing investment? Are we reprioritizing? What will people meaningfully see different as a result of this budget?
I think what people will meaningfully see different, the first thing is less RVs on their streets in the encampment areas. Now, the way to get there is all of the things that happen on the back end. We're adding 17 positions to the homelessness, or we're recommending 17 positions to the homeless initiative. Those 17 positions, some of them will help expand and increase the frequency of those encampment resolutions. Another thing that you see we're doing is we're providing funding for the cities to help those that are interested in partnering with us so that they can establish their own interim housing, whether it's a tiny home, helping to lease a motel site to bring folks inside. And that's what we call our local solutions grant with the cities. We provided that in last year's budget. We're continuing that funding this year. And so a definitive impact is that we are proactively reaching out to cities to partner with them. And we have folks on staff in the CEO's office. That is now their entire job, which is to go out, reach out, don't wait for them to call us, to proactively partner with them, and then show them what the opportunities are. Oftentimes, cities want to help, but they don't know exactly how because they don't normally provide social net services. And then the last thing I will say is we are deepening the investments. And so we know that we often have a capacity problem, whether it is subsidies, permanent supportive housing slots, and I could go through a number of things where we are increasing those. And so I guess for the provider community, they should feel that there's more capacity out there, that we have more slots available for people experiencing homelessness. All of that is fueled, however, by what's happening on the back end with the hiring, with the contracting, and with adding more resources.
And not to beat a dead horse, but I believe that all of that is funded, or a large part of it is funded through Measure H. So if we don't have H, we don't have those resources.
That is correct.
Okay, so loud and clear, we have to make sure we're focused on that. We also know that it's far less expensive to provide individuals rental or legal assistance to stay in the places they already call home than having to provide housing and services after they've become unhoused and on our streets. So what are we doing in this budget to fund homelessness prevention specifically? I know Stay Housed LA is part of that, so is it fully funded this year?
Yes, it is. Stay Housed LA is funded for this current year through this June and then through June of 2025 with ARPA dollars. DCBA has developed a 2-year spending plan, and anything that they don't spend in this current year will, of course, they will be allowed to carry it forward for next year, for 24-25.
Okay. Yes, State Housed LA is a critical resource, and in many cases, the payments they make are smaller in nature. So I want us to look at funding targeted towards rental support programs for our older adults who are in need, are recently unemployed, or other low-income tenants who might be at risk of falling into homelessness. We know that often covering that one paycheck to cover them for a month can keep them in housing. So that's a much-needed investment and a better investment than letting them fall into homelessness. Legal services are also very important to help prevent homelessness because many vulnerable residents are pushed out of their housing simply because they don't know their rights or how to navigate the legal system. The county-funded self-help legal access centers have assisted tens of thousands of Angelenos every year, including a significant portion with unlawful detainers. So will the self-help legal access centers be funded in this budget? Will they continue?
So we are not recommending funding in this recommended budget phase. We do have the request from DCBA. DCBA submitted a report on March 26th identifying a need for, I think it's $3 million. And so we intend to take that up in final changes.
Okay, I think that's $3 million well spent for all of the people we're able to protect from falling into homelessness. So we'll be keeping an eye on that.